Good morning, everybody. This is the Only Bet Sports podcast with me, SternBets, and DrewDelucci here to give you days ahead best bets. Just wanted to talk about yesterday really quick. The Knicks just dismantled the Spurs. And then on the late night game, Lakers destroyed the Warriors. And I know that you're a Warriors fan, Drew, so I just wanted to bring you in, maybe talk about that real quick before we jump into the day ahead. How you doing, man? Good morning.
Good. How you doing? I'll probably have to leave at 10 my time, 12 Eastern, but um overall the Warriors, I kind of expected us to lose there, in my personal opinion. Usually when we don't have Steph against the Lakers, we particularly don't usually do well. But overall, we're still the eighth seed. I think our goal is just to at least make the play-in tournament, and hopefully Steph is healthy by then and Kristaps is as well, and try to make a run in the playoffs. I feel like we could have made a decent run, not being biased, if Jimmy Butler was hurt. Because people forget last year, the Warriors looked like they're on track to go to the conference finals, but then Curry went down against the Timberwolves after they won round one of the second round. So overall, though, I think we just need to make sure we stay afloat to where we at least can get give her a chance in the playoffs. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think I think they're doing a lot better than people expected when Steph Curry got injured. And their perimeter shooting is definitely keeping them in play. When they're hot, they're hard to beat, no matter who's on the court.
Yeah, everyone can shoot a three on their team, even Draymond especially. But yeah, we have a lot of role players that are getting shine that usually most only Warriors fans know who they are. But now since Curry's out, people are paying attention more to them, whether it's player props and stuff. But yeah, everyone across our board pretty much on our team can shoot threes. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty impressive watching who come out and start shooting threes. But I actually wanted to bring in college basketball early today. I really want to get your opinion here on Houston visiting your Kansas Jayhawks. I mean, I'm not going to bet against Kansas here, but it seems like the sharp play here. What can we expect from this game tonight?
Oh, I don't think they're playing today. You think Houston and Kansas already played? Are
I'm
you thinking of the
sorry.
Arizona game?
Oh, yes, I am. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
My
you're
notes
good.
are on the wrong page. Let me switch that
Oh
over
yeah.
real
Yeah.
quick.
Oh, you're good. Yeah.
What can we expect from
Are you talking about the Iowa State Arizona game, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Sounds good. This is a very interesting game. Personally, I'm not a big favorite of either of the two ranked games just because they can be very unpredictable. In my personal opinion, like I think Arizona should win at the end of the day, but I feel like Iowa State is the more desperate team, especially after getting destroyed at home to Texas Tech. Um, Something that's very interesting about Texas Tech winning is like if you look at the Big 12's like top five teams, each team right in the top five only has one road loss in conference. Kansas, you'll see two home losses, and that was because one was non-conference to UConn. But it's very hard to win on the road in the Big 12, and the fact that Texas Tech was able to do is impressive. And honestly, this is still if Arizona wins this though. They are outright champions of the Big 12 before the tournament. I'm going to be honest, teams care more about being outright winners of the regular season, the conference tournament, because most of these big conference tournaments, as I said before, most of them don't really care as much. Like going, like winning the actual tournament. Sometimes people sit players and stuff. It's more rewarding knowing that hey, you played like 18 games of the conference and you were the best record overall because and basically Iowa State has no chance of winning the conference, but I feel like they are dying for a win. They have not had, if you look at Iowa State, because people talk about Kansas not having like that much impressive road wins, but they actually have a more impressive road win than Iowa State, which is at Texas Tech. And like if you're the seeding people, you look at Iowa State, they don't have any really ranked road wins in the Big 12. They beat Purdue a long time ago, but they don't care about that. But if you look at it, like they've lost at BYU. They've lost at TCU. The only really wins on the road in the Big 12 are Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and Utah. Yeah, it hasn't been impressive for Iowa State team, and I feel like they're going to be desperate for a win. But also Arizona is very well able to blow them out, so that's where I kind of want to stay away from this game, in my personal opinion, because you don't know which Iowa State team you're going to get, and you don't know which Arizona team you're going to get. You can get an Arizona team that blows a lead to Kansas, or then they flip a switch and they go on a 20-0 run. So we'll see.
Okay, what about an over or under? Do you have any leans one way or the other? Right now, the total is sitting at 147 and a half.
So that total is very interesting because usually Iowa State's one of like the top defensive teams, and Arizona's a pretty good defensive team. Personally, though, um, I think that over is too low. In my opinion, I think that's going to go over if I would pick one, because both these teams are very capable of scoring in the 70s and 80s. Uh, and I don't think this is one of those first to 70 wins. I think there's going to be scoring. Arizona likes to play fast, and I would say defense has taken a dip lately. So I think that over is too low in my personal opinion, because I don't see this being one of those feels for a really big game. Because let's be honest, it's not like a really big game to the point where there's a lot on the line. I think it's going to be two teams playing normally like they normally do. It's not going to be a lot of stress or much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And just to help you out right there, Mike McClure does like the over there. That was his official play on the early edge this morning. But let's bring into what you have for the best bets of the day. I know you were talking about SFA, I think it was last night in the
Yep.
chat. What do you got for us? What's your best bet here?
Yeah, so something to look out, guys, is when these mid-major conference become outright winners. That's the key, because um, we saw UNCW though absolutely blow it yesterday. But usually when a team has a chance to be an outright winner, they want to take that. So SFA and McNeese are playing at the exact same time. SFA is playing Incarnate World UIW, and McNeese is playing Nicole State. So both teams are going to want to win. If SFA loses and McNeese wins, they share a title. If SA wins, they win the title no matter what. So I think both those teams win, in my personal opinion, because they both want to try to get the conference title, and McNeese won't be able to score a watch to see if SFA is losing or not. So I love both those teams to win. I personally like. Um, I was gonna do a combo of like halftime, full time with both of them, but I'm gonna do a three-man with them two and a team in the Big Sky. Uh, Go to the Big Sky. It's we have Montana at Northern Colorado. The Big Sky is one of my favorite conferences to watch. They have a bunch of exciting teams. They also have some of the coolest mascots too. If you want to like look them up, they're like really old school and cool looking. But Northern Colorado is a team that started out 1-7 in the conference, and now they're 8-1. So their record's very deceiving. They got healthy and they've been dominating. They've lost one game since that 1-7 start, and it was I believe it was at Weber State. But this Montana team, they beat them a while ago when they were on their losing streak, and I think this is a great revenge spot. I think Northern Colorado. Some people make an argument they might be the best team in the conference, and some people's personal opinions. Basically, especially since how they're playing. And Montana hasn't been that good on the road at all. And Northern Colorado wants to end this with a bang, because if Northern Colorado wins and then Weber State loses to Portland, then Northern Colorado has the tiebreaker over Weber State, and then they'll be on the same seed, the same bracket side as the first seed rather than the second seed. The reason that's important is because if Portland State wins, they'll be the one seed, and that's a team that Northern Colorado has already beaten, and they would probably want to be on the same side of. But versus Montana State, they've lost twice to Montana State, so they don't want to be this on the same side of the bracket as them. And you know what's crazy about this matchup is if Northern Colorado beats Montana and then Weber State loses at Portland State, which they should, in my personal opinion, but I'm not going to bet that game. Then we might see Montana and Northern Colorado face each other again in the first round of the conference tournament, which will be very interesting in that aspect. So I'm looking forward to this game, and that'll be my best bet is McNeese, Northern Colorado, and SFA. I know there's some variance there, but that's why I like adding a new conference to it, so there's not as much variance.
Nice. Yeah, and you can get that at plus 100 over at Fanatics, or
Yeah.
I took it at minus 102 on ESPN. or the scorer, whoever, whatever they want to call themselves these days. Awesome. That's a really good look. I like that a lot. I was looking to figure out how to play McNeese and SFA, and I think that's a really good parlay piece. Any other best bets for us in the college basketball world before we move on to the NBA? I just want to fit in as much as we can while you're still with us.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, today is a lot of Big Sky in Southern Conference. Mid-major tournaments, guys, they start earlier usually than the major powers because most of these mid-majors last game of the regular season. The conference things are really weird for mid-majors. Like for the Southland Conference, if you're the first and second seed, you already made it to the semifinals. Basically, the home court for the Southland is kind of cheating in a way. The neutral site they agreed on is where McNeese plays, right? So SFA is gonna want to get the one seed, so they'll have like fire under their belt for that matter. And then the Big Sky, I believe, is neutral site. There's some that aren't. I would say the other game is I found interesting was the Duke NC State. I'm not gonna probably touch it. I'm just gonna enjoy and watch. People I talk to like NC State to cover. One of my buddies said that if you're going to bet this, bet NC State like for very little money to win or nothing because he thinks they're either going to get blown out or they're going to win outright. That's a hard place to play at NC State. NC State, they're technically in the tournament, but I feel like they want a better seed. If they beat Duke, they'll get a much better seed. This may be a letdown spot for Duke. Duke's been dominating, but NC State's a very underrated team to where I feel like 9.5 points may be a lot. But that's just one of those games I'm going to enjoy and watch to see what NC State we see. But that's it for me.
Yeah, I know a lot of sharp people who are on the NC State side here with the points and are just plugging their nose and playing it. Don't
Yeah.
don't overthink it. Just plug your nose, play the 9.5 or eight and
Hmm.
a half, whatever you can get the number in, and call it a day and hope you win.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd rather touch the mid majors today.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, let's go into the NBA. We don't have that many games. It's a little bit tight, but you know what? 4 games is not nothing. Houston, Washington, Boston, Milwaukee, Denver, Utah, and Clippers, Warriors. Do you want a chance to speak on the Clippers Warriors game here? I do have a thought on the under, even though it's set only at 216.5, which is pretty low already. But I find it hard to believe that both of these teams are going to be able to put points on the board.
Yeah. I would say something I would lean towards. Like you don't know how the Warriors are going to play at home because, of course, without I know this is probably without Curry. There's not as many. So this is actually a very interesting thing that, of course, I own as a Warriors fan. Believe it or not, we shoot more threes without Curry. The reason for that is because that's a way we can find open shots. Because when Curry is on the floor, there's double teams, right? Which allows for more cuts to the basket and open cuts to the basket. Without Curry, there's not as much open cuts to the basket, so we rely being a jump shooting team from the outside. Because when Draymond starts a screen, they trap Curry or Curry gets double teamed, he passes it to Draymond, Draymond passes someone cutting to the paint. But this is one of those things where I don't see it as being a high scoring game. But if I had to put money on it, I think the Clippers do beat us personally. I think they're just a better team overall, especially since we don't have Curry in that matter. I know that it's hard to judge us, especially since when we're home, we generally play well. We don't usually drop back to back games at home. So, personally, if I had to put money, I'd put the Clippers to win.
Yeah, I have a lean on the Clippers side and on maybe just the game total under or just the Warriors team total under. I might come back to that later, but the play that I wanted to play here was backing the Celtics, who I've been cashing pretty much nightly with them, even though I hate them as a team. I'm a New York fan personally, but they're going into Milwaukee without Giannis still. I just don't see how the Bucks are going to keep it competitive. They are a great team right now in terms of their ability to keep things moving. They are keeping things much more competitive than I think most people gave them credit for. But I think this Boston team is just too deep for them to be able to handle. I don't see it. I think Jalen Brown's going to have a fantastic night. I don't think that they keep it within 7, but I'm going to take their money line as a parlay piece here. And I'm actually going to go into the NHL for my other money line piece of this with the Dallas Stars. I also think that they are heavily there's a lot of value on their number here. I Yeah, we can get to the NHL in a minute, but I'll explain my pick a little bit more. But I'm going to take the Boston Celtics as a money line parlay piece.
Yeah,
Any
I don't have
thoughts?
much really for the NBA in that matter of like I don't really find much of the games interesting. I do like your Boston thing though.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Boston's just a cash cow right now,
Yeah, they
just
are.
like they were last year. It's just they're the dominant team here. The other team that I was really looking at was the Denver Nuggets, but that that line was a little bit too much and didn't really offer enough value, even though they should crush the Utah Jazz. All right, so then my other side of this play here is the Dallas Stars against the Vancouver Canucks. This is just an extreme mismatch in underlying metrics. The expected goals favor Dallas heavily. And I like the goaltending matchup as well. So I'm going to take Dallas here as a money line parlay piece. And you're going to be able to find that at plus 103. I got this last night at bet 365. Anything minus 110 or better is a line that I would very much consider. Anything else in the NHL?
Yeah,
We do have a few good games here, and I did have a lean on the
yeah.
over and under on a few of them. But what do you got for us?
So I would say if I had to lean on one, it's a game you just mentioned. It would be the under in this Stars Canucks game because if you guys know the Canucks, they're terrible at scoring goals in general, and I think the Stars win this game. But the Stars have a lot of injuries. I believe Miko's still hurt. They've also suffered some other injuries that they're dealing with. I can see this being a pretty low scoring game. In my opinion, I don't see the Canucks scoring more than probably two goals or even one. I can see this being like a 4-1 game or like a 3-1 game, in my personal opinion.
Amen, brother. I'm in for that. The other under that I like is the Red Wings Nashville Predators. I thought that that game, it does start at 2 p.m., so that's a little bit earlier than a normal starting time, but I just don't see points in that one either. But not an official play, just a lean.
Yeah, I would say for that game that's earlier, the if I had to pick something in that game, I would pick personally because I'm surprised about the line. The Red Wings to just win that game. I think they're the honestly the Red Wings have been the better team. Something the Predators have been terrible at is allowing goals. I would say for sure, and I just don't. I just haven't believed in this Predators team recently. Honestly, I think the Red Wings should win that game.
Yeah, their level of competition, the Red Wings have definitely had the harder competition playing the Avalanche in Utah, Ottawa, Carolina. They have had the tougher schedule than Nashville, but they both lost the last 3 out of 5 games. So
Yeah,
but I do I guess yeah I would lean with the Detroit here. Maybe that's a live play that we would play if I see the game starting to open up.
yeah.
Speaking of games that might be opening up, I took two Serie A, that is the Italian First Division League. I like two games, both games here today, Bologna and Fiorentina. Both of them are the favorites, and I think they're both very deservedly the favorites. I took them both to score one plus goal and double chance. And you could also take that on the spread at plus a half on the spread. And that basically just means if the game wins, if they win or they tie and they score one plus goal, we cash this throughout the here. I don't really see either of their opponents being very competitive here. Fiorentina is playing Udinese, whose goalkeeper is just absolutely atrocious. He has a minus 27 GSA, expected GSA. And for Bologna, they're facing Pisa, which is just they're anchored to the bottom of a table. They don't really have any high scoring opportunities or players that can really generate that high leverage that you're kind of looking for an upset. So I'm just going to take both favorites in this Serie A today. I think this goes off at 12:45 one game and then 2:45 the other game. Just give me both of the favorites to score one plus goal and to either draw or to win the games outright. And you can get that price at minus 103, which is pretty darn close to near even money. If you want to be a little bit safer, you could probably just play Bologna and Fiorentina to score one plus goal each. And I think that would give you a payout about minus 140 or minus 150. I just sprinkled the extra little bit in to get a little bit extra juice on the side. And I think at even money, this holds a lot of value. I know you're not really a soccer capper in any way. To be honest, neither am I. This is more of a new thing that I've been doing, but I've been fairly successful. So I really kind of want to keep going with it. I wrote my algorithms to kind of go through all the soccer metrics that some of my friends are looking at, and they're bringing me some valuable plays here. And I kind of like looking at the sharp money versus public money and following that as well. So I usually get a solid market value. Any thoughts here?
No thoughts on my end here.
Okay, yeah, and there's not that much else to go through. We're just kind of gonna go through it today, when we have some time. There was one thing that I really did want to discuss, and that's David Montgomery in the NFL. He's going to the Houston Texans for a fifth round pick, and I cannot believe this. I understand that the Lions want to give Jahmyr Gibbs maybe more opportunity, but that 1-2 punch was vicious. Like David Montgomery is a bruiser, and not having him as a bruiser to Jahmyr Gibbs' quickness is, I think, is a little bit concerning. I understand from the Houston side why they got him. They need somebody like Montgomery to kind of just gosh darn move the ball more than 2 yards play. That was one
Well,
of their biggest deficiencies.
I heard about this as well, and I know people are saying fifth round pick, but honestly, that's about the value it should be because, in my personal opinion, because people forget that David Montgomery, before this season starts, he's going to be 29 years old in June, and usually a 29-year-old running back with who's a bruiser like him, he probably only has, in my personal opinion, like 2 more years left of actual like really valuable production, in that matter. So they figured that's the best they'll probably get out of him. And honestly, fifth round picks aren't terrible. You would probably want a third, but if you see before, you've seen more valuable people get traded for certain draft picks. So I think it was a good move on both sides because they didn't want to get nothing for David Montgomery. And also, there could be something internally I guess, to where there could have been internal issues, I'm guessing, or something like that. To it could be ego thing. We don't know at the end of the day, but I think it was a good move on both sides. Great move, especially by the Texans short term. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I do hear that. Everybody but the King Henry has dipped significantly after 29 in their any production, especially from the running back position. It's just so hard to keep up that level of physicality for so many years. You're getting beat up day in,
yeah,
day out. You have 20 to 30 touches in a game. That's really tough on your body. I mean,
and
literally every single person except for King Henry has had a
yeah.
downward trajectory after 29. Not
Exactly,
one.
and Henry's kind of like one of those Victor Wembanyama type ones where they're not from this planet. It's like, yeah. Well, because yeah, like you make a great point. Like you, besides Henry, you can't really think of anybody like who I know Frank Gore was able to play significantly for a while and like I think he was like 30 something when he went to the Super Bowl and he was doing well, but he even took like a big dip at the end of the day. But like it's one of those things too where except like because Henry, he ran for like 2,000 yards and stuff. And it's when you look at a running back, and it's unfortunate for running backs that they don't get paid as much as they do for what they do. It's just people have excuses like, oh, you're past 29, so we're not have to pay you that much. So it's one of those things where we'll see if David Montgomery can prove, the line's wrong, the doubt is wrong. That hey, I can be like Henry, not as productive wise, but be just as productive as with the line. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, we will see. All right, switching topics really quickly before we hit to our 12 o'clock deadline just for today. I did want to point out a really interesting pitching matchup in spring training in the MLB. You have Bryce Elder, who I'm very curious to see how he comes off a disastrous season last year, versus Framber Valdez. And again, it's not a debut; it's just the preseason. But this game goes off at 1:05 today. Braves Tigers, and I'm very interested to see how this turns out. I think that the first 2 or 3 innings of that game will show us a little bit what these pitchers are coming with, and I'm excited to see it. That's going to be a fantastic matchup. I cannot wait for the baseball season to start. It's very exciting.
Well, you know what we have this Thursday, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. This Thursday we have the World Baseball Classic. And it's going to be great. If you guys, to the listeners, if you guys haven't seen this Worldwide Classic, it happens like every it usually happens, I believe, every like 4 years. The reason why I think they did it 3 years ago or something like that was because of the pandemic and stuff like that. But it's an amazing thing, guys. Like it's like a crazy environment. Representing country in America is bringing out the best of the best. Because they of course want to win. They probably have a bad taste in their mouth because they lost. They lost to Japan, and we probably saw the greatest at bat and we'll ever seen in MLB history when it was Shohei versus Trout, full count. Then Trout swung for the fences, struck out. So it's going to be amazing to watch. March 5th, they kind of do like kind of World Cup similar. There's like round robin play and stuff like that. So it's going to be very fun to watch. I'm probably going to watch as much as I can during work. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and speaking of World Classic Baseball, I think that there are two or three primary teams, and it's clear when you look at the. I'm not saying anything new here. If you look at the odds for the champion to win the World Classic Baseball, you have USA -110, Japan +330, and then your basic dark horse, a Dominican Republic at +450 here. The rest of the teams, I mean, I don't
Venezuela is
know.
probably up there, right?
Yeah, Venezuela's number 4 +900, but I don't know if they can make it far. I don't know if they're really going to compete against like the USA or Japan. If I had to give another team that was going to actually make it, and again, this is not news. This is literally just reading the odds. The Dominican Republic has a
Yes,
little bit of value.
that team is
Um,
stacked.
but
Like
again, I think that
yeah.
yeah, sorry, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say, sorry to interrupt, but you mentioned the Dominican Republic. I think that's the sleeper team right there. Of course, I'm rooting for America, but that Dominican Republic team has been very underrated for how good like their roster is. And honestly, though, one of the main reasons, of course, reason of course the American team is favored, and I'll say this is because of their pitching. Like we have the best pitching, and I don't see it's necessarily close. But if you look at the Dominican Republican team, which I really like about them, is they have, overall great hitters everywhere because they have Vladdy Jr., Manny, Cattell Marte, Jeremy Pena. It's just like one of those things where they do have hitters out there. Do have fielders. So they may not have the best pitching, but they're a sleeper team for sure that's going to have fire in them.
Yeah, I'm looking for best bets, and I'm going to probably come to the show tomorrow. Something that just jumped out to me is USA and Mexico, two teams. This is on DK to advance from Pool B, parlayed with Dominican Republic and Venezuela to advance from Pool D. Again, it's -161, so I'm not going to be playing it yet. I'm going to be looking for another way. But these four teams that we just mentioned here, United States, Japan, Dominican Republic, and Venezuela, and again, Mexico is no slouch themselves. I would also maybe look at Canada as maybe just like, but again, not to win it all, but just to advance. Those are the teams that we're going to be looking at to see if we could find some good value and find some fun ways to play this, because this is an absolute awesome tournament. It's getting worldwide coverage. People are excited about it. You have Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani facing off. This is just, I mean, this is the
Oh
greatest
yeah.
outside of the World Series and actual, Major League Baseball. This is probably the greatest baseball. Like the Olympics holds nothing on this, right?
Oh yeah, it's the best. It's the best players in the world. It's the only time you're going to see, in my personal opinion, one day you're going to see Paul Skeens and it's Tariq
Oh,
Scoble and
oh
Logan
yeah.
Webb on the same team. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, and you're gonna see Aaron Judge, and then all of a sudden the next batter is like a more dominant one. Like, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where the teams are gonna be so stacked. Like you're gonna be like, oh, Cattell Marte's batting for Dominican Republic. Oh, next is Manny Machado. Next it's like what the heck. It's just one of
Yeah.
those. There's gonna be hitters dominate everyone. Something about this, guys. By the way, when you get out of your pool, and this is where anything can happen. It's single elimination for baseball. Single elimination baseball is so hard. Sometimes you can have your stuff, sometimes you can't. So there's no room for error once you get to the elimination stages. So that's where it gets tense because I believe there is no series or anything. It's just single elimination. So yeah.
Yeah, anything can happen in one game. Baseball's definitely taught us that. That's kind of why they expanded the format all the way back in the 90s.
Perfect. Well, I'll go ahead and say my best bet so I can get to my meeting. My best bet, I should say. It's SFA money line with McNeese money line, and then with Northern Colorado money line. You know, like plus 100, I believe.
Yep, I got that at minus 102, but yeah, it's plus 100 over on Fanatics. And I don't have to go filibuster that much longer on my own. I don't do well on my own. I like having a co-host here. And again, Michael or Blame Nitty, I see you guys on. If you guys want to come up and talk, just request and I can bring you on. But I'm gonna have two plays today. They're both parlays. One is an NHL and NBA money line parlay featuring the Dallas Stars and the Boston Celtics at plus 103 over at Bet365. And then in the Serie A today, I have a two-score and double chance parlay featuring Bologna and Fiorentina, and that is at minus 103. I think that both of those plays hold some solid value. I wish the Nets were playing. I would fade them. I'm going to be looking for that tomorrow. But yeah, for all of us, that I think that's going to be it for our show today. A little bit shorter, but we're going to be back tomorrow with more picks and best bets. Thank you, everybody. This has been the Only Bet Sports Podcast. Please like us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Now we're on YouTube podcasts as well. So check us out, find us, and we'll see you soon. Thank you guys so much.